So we're just walking through some of the aspects of OnDemand, which is available to everyone with a Nessie account. So just going to run through what OnDemand is and how you can access it with Mahuika, and then what's available from our OnDemand, and then do a couple of spotlights of some of the apps we have installed on our system. So OnDemand is a method of connecting HPC resources to basically anyone's web browser. So there's an organization, Open On Demand, that does development and helps set up these systems for a lot of different HPC platforms. But the basic gist is making it really simple to connect to supercomputers through any web browser. And so we've got documentation on our doc site as well about the specifics of our platform. Why use it? Well, it gives you access to Mahuika, our HPC cluster, from your web browser with no SSH setup required. It also provides interactive computing sessions. So we're going to walk through a few of these interactive development environments today, but you could use Jupyter Lab, RStudio, or VS Code in your web browser connected straight on to the HPC. Really nice and easy. That being said, there are some reasons why OnDemand isn't going to completely replace, the standard SSH setup to the HPC. There are some restrictions on the software that's accessible via OnDemand. We have some limitations on the file transfer sizes. So if you need to work with really large files, you're going to want to look at some of the other recommended methods we have, like using Globus, that are in our documentation. And we don't quite have this working yet, but hopefully in the very near term future, you'll be able to submit Slurm jobs. But at the moment, you can't submit Slurm batch jobs from OnDemand, at least via the apps you would need to use the terminal setup. So I'm going to pass over to Jeff to walk you through how to access OnDemand.
Excellent, cool. So hopefully everybody can see my screen now, and which shows the Google Chrome browser. So what you want to do is, if you are launching Mahuika On Demand for the first time, is to Google On Demand. So in this case, I've Googled REANNZ On Demand. And you want to click the website that says ondemand.nessie.org.nz. This will take you to this page, which will have a button here so that you can log in, and this will take you to your Tuarekere login. Because I'm already logged in, this is going to get me straight to the front page. So this is what you should see when you open up REANNZ On Demand for the first time. So I'll take you through some of the components up here, one by one, just to see what each bit does. In particular, we'll be looking at the files clusters, and my interactive sessions before we get on to the apps. So first, files. If we go into files and home directory, you can see your home directory. You can see your home directory, and you can browse through it at your pleasure. So, for example, if I want to go to see what's in my my project directory, I'd click on OO Nessie projects. This will take me to all of my projects and no backups. And if I want to go on to Nessie 909 projects, I'd click on projects. That will take me here. And if I want to go to no backup, I'd click on the no backup, and that would take me to my no backup allocation. At the top right-hand corner, you can see a few buttons here for performing certain tasks on your browser, in your file browser. And the ones that I specifically want to look at is upload and download. So obviously, if you want to obtain files from Mahuika, you can click the download button. And if you want to put files into Mahuika from where you are, you can click upload. Just note that, as Jen said, there's a limit to this, which is 10 gigabytes. If your upload or download is more than 10 gigabytes, look at using other sources such as SCP, so that's secure copy in the terminal, or to look at Globus. And if you're not sure about how to use those, please get in contact with us. So that was going through the files. Next thing is we'll look at this Nessie HPC shell access. So this is a simple shell access for accessing Nessie. If people have used the terminal before, this is probably what you've seen in the past. And this is exactly what you'd want to use if you're wanting to submit jobs with Slurm. So for example, if I wanted to look at the types of jobs that I'm running, I'd go SQ me, and that can show you what everything that you got. You can submit bash jobs from there, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for the shell. The main thing is just to let you guys know that we've got it there. The last thing that we'll mainly talk about is the My Interactive Sessions, which shows you everything that all of the apps that you're running. So in this case, I'm running two apps that I'm going to show you later. And if you want to, if you ever create create a session and you want to come back to it, you want to click on the My Interactive button and then click the to connect to whatever server. So with regards to that, we have a bunch of apps. Sorry, I've just got to move all the faces away from the screen. So if we go into apps and click all apps, this will show you everything that we've got available. So some of the things that we've got are Ansible Fluent, or Ansys Fluent, sorry, which is for engineering. We have Jupyter Lab, which is for Python stuff, Pluto, which is for Julia stuff. We'll have a new app called Marino soon, which is also for Python. We have RStudio for R. We have Virtual Desktop, which is used for if you want to, if you need a desktop environment for complex visualizations. And we also have VS Code for coding. So with that, I will send it back to Jen, who will talk about how to start an app.
Okay, there we go. So you should be able to see I'm on demand. I'm
Oh,
messing
not
things
yet.
around. Oh, come back thing. On demand home visible.
I can
And
see it.
oh,
Can
sorry,
others?
I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Can others see it? If somebody can give us a thumbs up, it would be great.
Great, thanks.
Awesome.
Just wanted to double check. I'm not going to talk you through a whole bunch of things you can't see. As Jeff was showing you, we have a whole bunch of apps available. To start one app, you simply select the app you want. You can do that from here, from the homepage, a lot of other options. And you'll get a form like this. Some of these options will be available to some of you. Some of these options may not look the exact same for everyone, but that gives you a set of options, some of which are generic across all of the apps, and other ones are specific to the apps. I'm going to show you an example here with VS Code, and another example with RStudio in a minute, but just be aware these may look slightly different. Generally, you will just have the option to use the Kubernetes cluster here. There are some cases where you would need to use the Slurm HPC cluster for using Apptainer or GPUs with on-demand. And if that's the case, you're going to need to get in touch with support so we can help you get this set up, as it isn't available to everyone by default. You can then select your project code so that you're running and billing on the right account. Oops, if I don't select a code that has restrictions on it. You probably don't want to mess with this, but there are different versions for the apps, so you can change which app version you're using. And then you can set the number of hours, the number of cores, and the amount of memory you need for this interactive session. So it's just like any Slurm interactive session that you need to specify how many resources you need. And kind of as is usually the case with the HPC, make certain you're requesting enough resources that you can do your job, but not so many that you're, eating up a ton of resources you aren't using. And one warning to give you is that if you seem to be getting strange errors from the apps, they all have very different ways of telling you that you had an out of memory error. So one quick solution, if you seem to be having an unexplained error with an on-demand app, would be to try relaunching it with more memory per job. So once we've got the form filled out how you want, all you have to do is hit launch. And this is going to fail for me because you can only have 2 running sessions, apps running at a time on OnDemand, and I've already got 2 up and running. So that's what this complaint is. But if I go to my interactive sessions, you'll see I have 2 active sessions going, and I can go switch over to the code server VS Code. So this is going to look a lot like what VS Code looks like on your desktop, or if you've used code spaces from GitHub. It gives you direct access to your home directory. So this is home/Jennifer Reeve on Nessie. And from there, you can navigate the file system here, just like you would if you had SSH'd in and see all of the files available to you. You can also, one of the main benefits of VS Code is it allows you to work with a lot of different languages, files, kind of all in one simple interface. So a major upside here is that this gives us access to not only the file system, but also the text editor, and we can do simple things like just hit run and get the output of this Python script into the terminal. And this terminal works just like any other. So I can use standard bash terminal behaviors to move around and do what I need to do as if I'd SSH'd in and had a terminal open for me. So this is really useful for the ability to be doing editing, using the terminal, using the file system. It's also useful because you have access to most, not all, VS Code extensions. So you can get language support for different apps and potentially use the debuggers for different languages as needed. So that's just a really quick intro to the VS Code app. There's a lot of great utility here, especially if you're already familiar with VS Code or if you're moving between languages. If I switch over and show you, as I said, these setup forms are slightly different because some apps have more options that you can choose. So this is for setting up an RStudio server. Again, you've got the cluster, the project code, and the server version, but you can also change the R version that this is launching with. So we could select to use a different version of R, or select to use versions of R that have some additional packages installed with them for easy setup. So this is R with a whole bunch of geoscience related packages installed as part of the image. Again, selecting the number of hours, number of cores, and the memory per job. So if I swap over to the server that I got going, you can see it looks exactly like what RStudio looks like if you have it open on your desktop. We've got our file pane, the console and terminal pane, file navigation again, as well as the environment here to keep track of things. And I can run R scripts and edit and run R scripts here. I can even knit our markdown files and produce HTML outputs with the interactive session going. So this allows you all of the normal benefits of RStudio just via your web browser, nice and easy. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Jeff to highlight a couple more apps. Muted.
Thank you for that. Can people see my screen? Cool, perfect. Okay, so the next app that we'll look at is Jupyter Lab. So the Jupyter Lab is a browser just like what Jen showed you before with VS Code and RStudio, but this one specifically for Python. So many people will be used to using it. Specifically, you have the your file management over on the left-hand side. And up at the top, if you see the little plus button, you can click your launcher, and this will provide you with a whole range of Python versions, as well as text files and access to the terminal down here. So if you want to click on the terminal, click that button, and that will take you back to here. As Jen said before, this doesn't have access to Slume at the moment. So if I go SQ, it won't work at the moment, but this is something that we'll be doing in the future to get this enabled. If you want to run a notebook, you just want to click one of these buttons. So for example, I'd click 11.3. And this will give me access to a Jupyter Lab notebook. I've got one here as an example where if you just press the plus play button as you would usually, you would get something running. If you want to do things like running like pip installing, you want to run your usual command in here, but have a little exclamation mark at the front of it that will allow you to run things as if it was a terminal installed. So in this case, this is if I wanted to install Matplotlib, this is the way that I'll do it. The few last things I wanted to say was that if you want to change your environment, you click on this button here as well, which will provide you with a whole bunch of different environments. And something that you can do here as well is click on if you've got different Conda environments that you like to use, there is a way to install these as well and to have them come up as a little button that comes up here. If you'd like to know how to do this, please reach out to us or see our documentation. Likewise, you can also submit jobs. Oh, that's not good. You can submit jobs through Papermill, which will run a notebook, a Jupyter Lab notebook in Slume, and again we've got documentation for that as well. So it looks like I'm getting kicked out of Jupyter Labs, so I'm going to go and look at Pluto. So Pluto is like Jupyter Labs as well, except that it is for using Julia commands. So you can see a whole bunch of different interactive tools and notebooks here. These are all in JI format, so they can be used directly in Mahaweka if you want to submit these as Slume jobs. So if I click on the example one that I show here, this will load a notebook that you can see here. And you just want to click the run notebook code and this will start everything for you. So this is going through and running each command one at a time. And that's what that little bar up here is showing. So hopefully it will get across there as soon as possible. So some things to note are that in the status, you can see what it's actually doing. So you can also look at the documentation for Julia as well at the same time. And it is saved in this home address here. So if you want to move or you want to do anything with your script, you can just change where it is by writing in the path that you want to put it here. Last thing to indicate that is that Pluto is interactive. So for example, if I wanted to change this X from 3 to 5, and then I click this button here, everything else will get changed alongside it. So you don't need to rerun everything again. Cool, so that's all of the apps that we wanted to show. So the last thing that we wanted to, oh no, it's probably sharing. Stop share.
I'm trying to make it share my, if you have that, that works too.
No, it's not wanting me to. So should I just share your screen? Yeah, cool, thank you. Cool, so there are many, as Jen said before, there are many other apps that are available. One of the ones that's coming along is Marimo, which is for Python, which is interactive, which is a little bit like Pluto that we showed before. But there's a whole wide world of on-demand apps that you can see here. I can see Avogadro, which is for chemistry, so I might want that. So if I wanted to ask for that, I would go to Nessie support and say, oh, I see that Avogadro is available for Nessie support, for Mahawika OnDemand, can I request that this is installed? And we can look at doing this for you. It's not necessarily restrict. Some of the apps are here that you can see, but there are some apps that are possible to be made for Mahawika OnDemand. Again, just if you've got any requests for anything, any apps that you think we might be able to install, just get in contact with us and we can see what we can do. Cool. And if you go to the next slide, I think that is the end. Cool. So thank you for listening. And do people have any questions?